When did you know you might have a chance to pin it?
As soon as I got the cradle locked up, it felt good, and it was just kind of rush of explosion, and that's what you got to have when you get that hold locked up, and I got myself into position there, and there's just a couple tweaks and twists and turns, and just to get that other shoulder flat, and there it was.
What's the mindset coming off a tough loss Friday night, coming into this weekend?
I came off the mat on Friday, and I wasn't pleased with myself, and about 30 seconds after I talked about it a little bit, and then after that I haven't thought about it. So it's one thing that I have to do a better job of, and I think I did a good job this week, especially compared to last week, is getting over a loss.
What does it mean to you to be Big Ten dual champs?
It's one thing, but it's not the biggest thing, I guess. And I think our whole team is thinking like that, and I hope our whole team is thinking like that. So it's nice to get recognized, and at the same time, it's not what we've been training for the whole year. So there's other things out there.
Would you say you guys are still hungry? Like, this is not the biggest thing?
Yeah, I didn't even know that this was the last Big Ten duel of the year. So it was funny to me when they said that University of Iowa was Big Ten champion. So thanks for letting us know.
Where would you say your mind is then, if you didn't know? Where would you say it was?
It's day to day, and I do a really good job just keeping day to day and not looking ahead too much. So that's what it is for me.
Anything else for Nick? Nick, Coach, ready right here. We'll do it old school. Thanks, Nick.
Big Ten dual champs, Coach. What's that mean in the season?
Means that you took care of business in middle to late part of the dual meet season, and we have Edinburgh next week. That's the regionals for the national duels. We'll figure out where we're going to be seated in the weekend after that for the national duels. That's an important event. We got to get ready for that as well. And then it's postseason tournament time. Away we go.
Nick mentioned just now that he didn't even know this is the last Big Ten duel. Is that the mindset you want from those guys?
I don't know if it's the mindset you want. It's okay. I mean, you want guys focused on what's in front of them, and that's what we do well as a program, I think, is we get onto the next thing pretty well, and you call it what you want, but you're basically debriefing, and then you're getting ready. So there's some things that are good about today. You took on some firepower there that you asked Nebraska what they thought of some of those matchups, and I know they thought they could win them, and we think we can win 10 weights. That's our philosophy, but when you can go head-to-head in some of those on papers that are even and do what we did to those guys, I like that. And just get some guys a little bit sharper, at 49 with, and Gambrel trying to throw, and boy, those things have to really be there to put a guy down like that.
What do you see with Nick's pin?
I love it. Here's the thing. I mean, energy. To put a guy into a position like that, it takes a lot of energy. It's not slow. It's not something that you look for a shortcut. It's something that you kind of hit him hard, and Ramos did the same thing. But that's what Nick did. He got him in position got his opponent out of position, got himself in position real quick, and then took advantage of it. And there were some adjustments out there, too. If you know wrestling, the cradle, the guy had the shoulder up, and so Nick had to work to get that shoulder down. It's not easy to do when you got a cradle like that. So there was a lot of good wrestling there, even after he had it locked up and got his near fall secured. So good job, and that's what we talk about too. We talk about get your 2 count, get your 5 count, and then get your fall, and that's exactly what he did. Good for him, and it was explosive, and I think it was entertaining for the fans as well.
Do you feel like your team is wrestling the Iowa way, like you want them to?
When you're doing things like that, and you're in there, it's like a blitz, it's like a lightning bolt. That's what you want. There's some. I think we could have widened the gap a little bit more at 141. I think we could have widened the gap at heavyweight. Those are 2 matches that come to mind. But sometimes you control too, and 41 really controlled his guy. But at the end of the second period, there, I think we get a takedown, and all of a sudden you're looking for bonus points.
You
What-
guys racked up a lot of riding time today. What does that say?
Our guys were comfortable on top, and that's where they were doing some good work. And, you know, if you look at Evans even, I mean, he got reverse going for, you know, his deep half, and good for him. You know, and then right at the end of the period there, in the second period, he missed a 2 count by, you know, a hair. And so, good. I mean, we're, you know, riding time and then score with it. I think we were scoring with it pretty good.
First 5 or 6 guys didn't score a lot of first period points. Is that something that concerns you or not?
First 5 or 6 guys, you're talking Grothus and then into the break. You know, that was in Coach Gable's comment on the media com. You know, he said something that was, you know, that was the meat of their lineup. They had the best draw they could get. So, you know, you're scrapping those. I mean, 57, 65, 74, those are matches, you know, I think they felt pretty good about.
Grothus was right in with Souflon there for most of the match and got a little sloppy late. Where's he at? What's he need to do to?
I think just relax a little bit in those situations. Get your legs back, and if you're going to do it, do it. Don't kind of do it, because when you kind of do things, you fall in your butt, kind of. And he fell down there, and you can't wrestle from your rear end. You gotta have your hips underneath you, and you gotta have power underneath you.
You talked about Evans a little bit. I think he faced his 5th top 5 opponent. What's the last kind of month been like for him?
One at a time mentality, and you'll do the same thing come tournament time. So good for him. He's becoming a cool customer, and that's what maybe the difference is from last year or a year ago. He's really doing a good job of being a cool customer, and really nothing rattles him. And you got to give him credit too. He comes from behind, and that was a penalty point with the illegal head scissors in the neutral position there. So, you know, good for him coming back. And I got 2 questions on my mind. I still want to answer your question with the first period takedowns. I mean, there's only really one match there where St. John, and that's a dangerous guy out in front of him, but Nick Moore scored first period takedown. Mike Evans was in on the guy and doing some good things as well. So, and the guy was in on us too, but, you know, there's a lot of action there, and that's what we want. You don't want to have those matches static like that. So I don't really look at it like we were static, so no, it doesn't concern me.
Would you say winning the Big Ten duels is great, but it's not the ultimate goal?
I think it's good, and it's, like I said, I mean, it's it's the mid to late or getting toward the postseason, and, you know, we did our job, and we had some teams that, you know, obviously were trying to beat us, and, you know, Illinois and Nebraska coming in here today, and, you know, a road trip to Michigan and Penn State, and, you know, I'm missing Purdue maybe, but, you know, we did some good work to do that and won some good individual matches, and now we got to take the next step.
Was it fun to see Montel over on the other bench?
Excuse me?
Was it fun to see Montel Marion over on the other bench?
Montel will do very well for himself. He's very knowledgeable. He knows wrestling, and good for him.
Anything else?
184 going forward, just kind of match to match.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting it ironed out a little more, not just because of, you know, what you saw tonight or what you saw this weekend, but just because there's a timeline, and we got to get going that way. So, you know, Edinburgh, we got one dual meet next weekend, so you can't really split duty. So we'll figure out what we're going to do there.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
I'll be right back.